Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I painted this eye using oil paint on a small canvas board. So this is a picture of my daughter's eye. She has the color eyes that I do. They're kind of like they're hazel, they're like a greenish brownish color. And so I had her stand by the window, so one side of her eye, the light is hitting it really strong, and then the other side is more in shadow. So I like to use a limited palette when I paint any kind of skin tones. So I use ultramarine blue, permanent alizarin crimson, raw umber, cadmium yellow pale, titanium white, and because she's got the green, I used a sap green. So I'm just sketching in the eye. I didn't want to do it with pencil. This is the way in school we did not paint. We did not start our paintings with a pencil. We always sketch them in with our paintbrushes. So I'm painting it on painting it flat so that you guys could see my palette. And I'm really having a hard time painting flat. So you see I keep lifting the canvas up, trying to see the perspective correctly, because when it is laying flat it can be skewed, which I kept messing up. I couldn't see it correctly, so I kept lifting it, and I end up towards the end actually putting it on an easel, a tabletop easel, just so that I could see it better, which I should have done from the beginning, because it was hard for me just to paint. I'm used to holding my brushes like towards the end, and almost all my brushes are really long. They have long handles, so I'm used to holding them towards the end, and I just have better control that way when I hold them towards the end of the brush handle. So I was having a hard time just painting in general, like painting tiny details with it laying flat. So anyway, so I'm starting out with my darks, and then I'm putting my lights over and blending it together with that kind of purplish color. My daughter has dark circles under her eyes. She's had them since she was like a baby, so I guess it's genetic. So I'm putting more of that purple up on top, and then blending in with a lighter color. And the way that I got those shades, I just blended my primaries together, and then put a little bit of the burnt umber, and then mixed a lot of white in it, and then I kind of tweaked, with the blue, or that whatever color I needed it to lean towards, I would add that color to it. So if I needed it to have a warmer tone, I would add more of the yellow or more of the red. If I needed it darker, I would put some more of the raw umber. So now I'm painting in the eye, and you know, I didn't have a whole lot of problems doing this part of the eye. It was when I got to the eyelashes that was the problem. I have a very shaky hand, and so it was a little easier when I went to do the eyelashes when they were up, but it's still, you'll see, I hesitated like a lot when I kept doing it, and I didn't really have the right brush. My script liner that I usually use was frayed at the end, so I couldn't use that one, and so I used a softer brush, and it was a lot harder to control because it was so soft. So I ended up getting it and then lost half the footage for it, so sorry about that. So she has, because of the reflection from the window, there was a lot of different colors in her eyes. There's some blue from the outside that was coming in and casting a light across the left side of her eye and up into the pupil, and then there was the green. Her eyes are kind of like, they're kind of like a pea green. That's what I always called my eyes, because they're the same color, like a pea green. But when you look up close to them, there's like lots of other little colors in her eye. And so I'm painting the whites of the eyes, which are not white. You can see that I'm painting them blue, and I actually am using some Payne's Gray for this, mixed with some white. And I think I put a little bit of ultramarine blue in it. So the right side of the eye has more blue in it, and then the left side, because of the warm sunlight coming in through the window, it's got a warmer tone to it. So that side's got like I used more of the pinky tones in it. And then the light actually is reflecting across the white of the eye too, so there's a lighter spot on it. So I've always loved painting eyes, but when I paint them like in a portrait, I don't paint like every single lash, and I usually don't paint them this big, so the detail doesn't have to be like as extreme as it is when you make something this large. So that's why I was like very intimidated by doing the lashes on this. But you can see in the eye, you can also see the reflection of the eyelashes in the eye. And so those are painted over where the light is at. And when you paint them in, it gives it a more realistic look as well. So today, I wish I probably should have finished this painting today instead of yesterday, but I just wanted to finish it. But I went to Hobby Lobby and they had 50% off their brushes, so I bought a whole bunch of Masters Touch brushes, which is the Hobby Lobby brand, and it's the synthetic hog hair, which I use a lot of the synthetic hog hair in other brands as well. That's just, it's a stiffer brush and it pushes the paint around a little better, and I have more control when I'm using a stiffer brush, so that the brush isn't, the tip isn't flopping around. It kind of stays, you know, stiffer as it touches the canvas, and it's almost more like a pencil when you're drawing, if that makes sense. It's not, it's just easier. It's easier for me to use. So that's how I can get finer detail when I have a stiffer brush. So like right here, I have moved my canvas onto the easel, and I'm much happier now. And you can see I'm holding the brush further away, and it's making it easier for me to paint, much easier. And then I can just see better. I can see, you know, what I'm doing better. And so here I'm making the iris. Is that the iris? The pupil. Sorry, my eye part's wrong. I'm painting the pupil not black, but it's a mixture of ultramarine blue and raw umber. And so part of the pupil is dark, and then there's light cast on it. So the other part, like a third of it, has a lighter color. But I'm really excited about my brushes. I just love oil paint. I painted this, actually, I painted it in watercolor first, and I was not happy with it. And I was going to post it, but I was actually going to post it with this eye as well. I was going to put it at the beginning of the video and then put this one, but it was just way too long. So I decided not to post it at all because it didn't turn out that well. And I use gouache with it too, and I'm just kind of learning to use gouache. So I'm just better with oil paint. Once I finished the watercolor eye and I wasn't super happy with it, and I moved on to the oil paint, I just feel more at home with it. Just so much more comfortable with oils. Oh, and here I go. That's my little brush. I think it's a watercolor brush, and the tip is, the bristles are so soft. So every time I mess up, and I'm being very timid with it, if you can tell how much I'm hesitating, I'm just rubbing it out what is, doesn't look very good. But it's nice because I'm using colors that are in the white of the eye already, so I can just kind of rub it out and it blends in fine. That's where I messed the video. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if it's my SD card. I just ordered a new one, so hopefully that won't happen again, because this is the second time that I've had video that is not there when it should have been. So it didn't make sense that it was gone. But I'm making the lashes a little darker here, and I'm softening the outside of the iris, because there shouldn't be a harsh line around it. It's soft around, where it meets the white of the eye. And I'm adding a little more color in here. And I'm pretty happy with it. So here is the finished painting. I hope that you guys liked it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. And if you haven't subscribed, why haven't you? Hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell next to it so that you can be notified every time I have a new video, which I have one every week. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.